80-degree Monday in April takers? Anyone? Okay, if we were to put all of our positive energy into the sound of our hands clapping or the sound of our feet stomping on the floor or the sound of us going, woohoo! All of the positive energy you feel or want to feel, what would that sound like? I love it. I love it. You are at Bloom Bars. Welcome to Bloom Bars. Many of you welcome for the first time. Some of you welcome back. My name is Gowrie. I will be your host this evening if you will have me. May I be your host this evening? Yes. Woohoo! Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here. And who here doesn't really know what Bloom Bars is? Like maybe you walked in and you said, I like that cool looking tree in the front, but I don't really know where I am. Anyone? Well, I'm going to tell you anyway, just in case anyone's too shy to tell me that they don't know where they are, which is fine. You're at Bloom Bars. Bloom Bars is a nonprofit arts organization that has been here in DC for 8 years now, something like that. 8 years, yes. And yeah, you can clap for that. And Bloom Bars is unique in several ways. We are all ages, all the time. Sometimes I have to say this kind of hypothetically by saying, oh, sometimes when you come for the open mic, we have kids here too. Today I don't have to say it hypothetically because we have kids here. Can we give it up for the kids who came to hang out tonight? I'm excited to see all of you here tonight, even a little wee one over here. And so we're all ages all the time, no matter what we do. And so if you are performing tonight, you probably already know this, but I'll just remind you, we ask that your material be appropriate for all ages, whether or not we have young people right here in the front row, like we do tonight. And we appreciate that you do that because it helps us keep this space safe and welcoming for everybody. And there are plenty of places where we can share maybe material that's a little bit more grown up or adult in our language. We are also donation driven and we're also run by volunteers. So can we please give it up for Olivia and Melanie, who you probably met when you walked in tonight. They are two of our phenomenal volunteers here at Bloom Bars, and thanks to them, this program is continuing into its 8th or 7.5 year now, because they're really keeping this show going and helping manage all of the artists, such as myself, who pop in to do these nights. And so we really appreciate them. And can we also give it up for our sound guy, also known as John Chambers, also known as the guy who founded Bloom Bars 8 years ago and keeps it going day to day. We do lots of different programs here. We do lots of programs specifically for young people, age 5 and under, music, dance classes, theater programs. We do dance classes, music classes, open mics, film screenings, all kinds of stuff for all of us. And we would love to see you back here. And very excitingly, we won an honor recently. Every year, the Washington City paper, which is an arts and entertainment paper largely here in DC, does a poll of the best of DC. And this year, Bloom Bars was voted Best Arts and Culture Nonprofit for the 5th year in a row. We're very excited about that. And I think that's a testament to people like John and Olivia and Melanie who really keep the wheels grinding and keep things going here. We have amazing guests here tonight. We have some of the top poets from the city of Tshwane, South Africa, from the Speak Out Loud poetry competition there, who are visiting DC this week and made time to be here to feature at Bloom Bars tonight. So can we give it up for our poets who are visiting us this evening? They are our featured artists, and they will be doing a set of their poetry for us later on this evening, and we're very excited about it. So before we bring up our first open micer, I was going to share a poem, if that's okay. Is that all right? I'm going to share something that we sometimes refer to as OPP because it stands for Other People's Poetry. And I was just in a show for the past few months that we did at Atlas Performing Arts Center, and we did at a couple of theaters out in the Midwest. And it was a show all around poetry by writers who died of HIV and AIDS, and specifically poets who passed away in the 80s and 90s. And it was a multimedia performance with poetry, dance, visual projections. It was really a great piece to be part of. And this is one of the poems from that show. So this is a poem by a writer named Essex Hemphill. Do folks know who Essex Hemphill is? All right? I'm going to take that as a gallery. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Essex Hemphill? Well, why don't I? I would love to. Essex Hemphill was a writer who passed away at the young age of, I believe, 39. He was very active in the DC literary art scene. He also edited the first ever anthology of creative writings by Black gay men, and this was back like in the 90s, and just a phenomenal artist. And so he's one of the poets whose work we preserve and elevate in this show. And I would like to do a poem for you that he wrote for Washington, D.C. Family Jewels for Washington, D.C. I live in a town where pretense and bone structure prevail as devices of status and beauty. A town bewitched by mirrors, horoscopes, and corruption. I intrude on this nightmare, arm outstretched from curbside. I'm not pointing to Zimbabwe. I want a cab to take me to Southeast so I can visit my mother. I'm not ashamed to cross the bridge that takes me there. But no matter where I live or what I wear, the cabs speed by. Or they suddenly break a few feet away, spewing fumes in my face to serve a fair-skinned fare. I live in a town where everyone is afraid of the dark. I stand my ground unarmed, facing a mounting disrespect, a diminishing patience, a need for defense. In passing headlights, I appear to be a criminal. Shaggy green hair sprouts all over me. My shoulders hunch and bulge. I growl as blood drips from my glinting fangs. My mother's flowers are wilting while I wait. Our dinner is cold by now. I live in a town where pretense and structure are devices of cruelty. A town bewitched by mirrors, horoscopes, and blood. Essex Hemphill, everybody. Thank you. So before I bring up our first open mic artist of the evening, I'd just like to remind folks we are at an open mic, so we have a mix of people who will get up on stage who do this a lot, people who maybe don't do it very frequently, people like myself who do it a lot but who still get nervous pretty much every time I get up on stage and do anything. So we like to make sure that we support everyone in the space and make sure that people feel that support when they get up on stage. Are you all in this with me? Yes. Okay, so as you saw, we checked the sound, we checked the mics. The mics are working. This is when I check the audience to make sure the audience is working. This is also known as your audition to be tonight's open mic audience. Spoiler alert, you get the job. But we just like to do the exercise anyway. So I'm going to pretend I'm introducing an open mic artist. I'm going to pretend that the person's name who I say is about to get up here and sing a song for us. And I'm going to ask you to show me how would you clap for someone or stomp your feet or say woohoo if you knew somebody's getting up here and they might be very nervous to get up here. Everybody, can we please give a warm round of applause for Doc McStuffins? Doc McStuffins is here, and she's gonna get up on stage, and she's gonna sing and dance for us. Now I have to admit, I wish Doc McStuffins was here. She's not here this time, but we're working on getting her here at some point to feature. But in the meantime, we have lots of other artists. You all did a wonderful job. You did get the job of being tonight's open mic audience. It's actually an unpaid internship because we live in DC. I will write you a great recommendation letter at the end of the night. Are you ready for our first open mic artist, everybody? Yeah! Me too, and I'm so excited because I just met her about an hour ago, and I'm so glad that she's here. Can we please give a warm round of applause for Shell as she comes up to the stage to share her work with us.
Thank you very much for letting me share a story of what happened to me today. I hope you all find it very, very, very interesting. Today, I woke up this morning. I don't have a job anymore, and my amazing husband took our 4 kids to school today, something he started when I did have a job. So I got myself onto Facebook. Started clicking on some videos. Found myself on a video of 2 older brothers who are trying to trick their sister into believing that zombies had taken over the world. She's drugged up on pain medications because she just got her wisdom teeth removed, so she actually fell for it. The older brother asks her, "Should we save the dog or the cat? We don't have room to save both." "The cat, you idiot! The dog's old and almost dead anyway." Normally I'd be laughing at one of these YouTube videos, but today, zombie apocalypse just doesn't seem like a scary prank. It's National Tax Day, people. It's the scariest day invented, and it's real. You may have noticed that today is April 18th. Emancipation Day fell on April 15th. It's a holiday that no one outside of DC celebrates. And it appears that within the district, most people are only concerned about finding last-minute childcare for their kids and not on the holiday itself. Let's think about that. We cannot get free representation in the Senate, people, but we can postpone when the IRS gets to collect its money by 3 full days. I salsa sandwich you not. National Tax Day is the scariest day invented because you're basically screwing up no matter what you do. You may be paying the government too much money. I have 4 kids. They all want to go to college. So that scares me a lot. I'm trying to convince them that they'd be better off flipping burgers at a Mickey D's, collecting carts at a Wally's World, anything that would basically be the equivalent of me winning a $200,000 lottery ticket. I could say that I'm kidding, but with kids nowadays graduating from college and unable to find a job, I couldn't say that truthfully. At the same time, I'm scared that I'm paying Big Brother too little and that he might throw me into the big house. With 2 adults, 4 kids, a cat, and a dog, all living in a very tiny house, I don't think I'd mind the big house so much. I could use the extra space. But I do think that my 4 kids would mind. That's right, 4 kids. I was supposed to qualify for a child care deduction this past year for the first time in a decade, since it's the first time in a decade that I worked. I was really excited because child care in DC is not cheap. We found some affordable options, and we found some legal options, but we didn't find affordable legal options. Then we heard about the au pair exchange, which is advertised at about $8 an hour. So we got ourselves an au pair and we put her into our tiny house that was already too small for the 2 adults, 4 kids, cat, and dog that live there. Most of our friends say that their au pairs are really picky eaters and barely eat, so it didn't really affect their grocery bill very much. But our au pair has a very expensive palate. She likes wild smoked salmon, organic coffees, fresh grass-fed milk, just like she can get back home. So our grocery bill changed a lot. I tried she also likes to write lists on the fridge of what she needs me to buy for her, what she needs me to do for her, what she needs me to cook for her. I kind of tried to change that one day. I gave her $20 and I asked her to go buy the ingredients for a simple salad. She came back with 3 tomatoes and told me that I still owed her an extra $4. They were gorgeous tomatoes. I mean, they were locally grown, they were organic, they were vine ripened, but we didn't have a salad. We had one ingredient for a salad. If she had bought garlic, at least we could have kept away the zombies. Good night, sleep tight, and don't let the IRS bite. Thank you very much.
I'm not saying Shell was debating getting up on stage tonight, but can we clap for Shell so she knows that this is a thing you can do. This is this thing that you can do, in addition to raising all your 4 kids. So thank you for sharing that with us. How is everyone feeling? I forgot to shout someone out who's here tonight when I was shouting out all the peoples. Jonathan Tucker is here. Can we give it up for Jonathan Tucker, please? I know a lot of our Bloom Bars old school regulars know Jonathan. Jonathan was one of the hosts of the Garden Open Mic for years as well and has been around our DC art scene for a long time and is currently spending time in South Africa and is here for a little bit. So we're happy to have him here tonight too. Speaking of old school Bloom Bars, folks, your name came up this weekend, Arvin. And I was talking to a friend, and we ran into Arvin's wife, Neha, and I said to my friend, oh, you don't know Neha, but you've met Arvin, her husband, before. And she goes, oh, that guy who sings. And I said, yeah, that guy who sings. But he told me he might not sing tonight. Arvin is an artist here in DC. He does lots of things. He does storytelling. He does comedy. A lot of people know him as that guy who sings because he also sings classical South Indian music and does a lot of fusion work as an artist. And he's very active with a musical group here, an ensemble called Sanctuary. And they have an EP out, and it's really cool. Can we please give a warm round of applause for Arvin Venugopal as he makes his way to the stage?
Let's give it up for Gauri one more time. She mentioned a lot of names over the years at Bloom Bars, and I know Gauri has been a very important part of Bloom Bars family as well. How is everyone doing? Because I cannot really see anyone. All right, Gauri mentioned that I'm a musician. I actually haven't slept well last night, so I don't really have much energy. But I thought I'll share something with you guys. I am from South India originally. I was born in South India and brought up there, and I moved here a couple of decades ago. Eventually, I will get my original accent back, and people will stop asking me where I'm from. But today I thought of sharing a few poems. They're not really poems, but they are poems. So back in the 1st century, a Tamil poet, Tamil is one of the languages spoken in South India. So he walked into a king's court and he said, I have written a lot of poems and I would like to share them with you. Apparently this poet had written more than 1,000 couplets. Back in the time, people did not have any idea about what a couplet was. Especially Tamil poets did not have any idea about what couplets were. So he had written more than 1,000 couplets and he shared with the king. Just like anything else, while he was alive, he was pretty much mocked and made fun of. And after he passed away, his works have been one of the greatest ever in the literature of the language. And I thought of sharing a few of them today with explaining a little bit because I haven't read these since my 1st grade. So the 1,033 couplets were split into 3 different categories, and they deal with different aspects of life. And today I thought I'll share a few of them which deal with friendship because we are at Bloom Bars. going to randomly pick a few. The problem with transliteration is it takes a while to understand English. 1 second. Okay, maybe I should read them and ask Gauri to translate it. Just kidding. All right. This is a good one. It goes, I'll say it first in Tamil and then I'll tell you the meaning in English. முகநக நட்பது நட்பன்று நெஞ்சத் தகநக நட்பது நட்பு. So the literal translation goes, not the friend's smile of welcome shows the friend's sincere, but the heart's rejoicing gladness when the friend is near. If you could not understand that, neither could I. So there's another explanation below. The love that dwells merely in the smiles of the face is not friendship, but the love that dwells deep in the smiles of the heart is true friendship. And I do really want to thank Bloombars for keeping our community and the arts and going over the years, especially a shout out to John who's upstairs and all my Bloombars friends. Thanks for having me.
Can we give it up for Arvin one more time? I was laughing when he said maybe I could translate the Tamil because I can't even translate basic Tamil. And as I was saying to one of my friends recently who tries to mix Tamil into our conversations because it is also my mother tongue, I just don't know it. I was telling him one day, I was like, all I ever understand when you say stuff to me is when we're sitting there and then you finally say, eat. Like, let's eat the food. Like, that's like the bit that I get. So that's my linguistic capability right there. Oh yeah, thank you. We're shouting out Bloombars people and Bloombars, and John was just telling me when I got here tonight that one of his old friends who has been a Bloombars supporter in a major, major way since before Bloombars started, Ferris Stockman just received an award today. You may have heard of this award. It's called the Pulitzer Prize for Journalism. I know she was Boston Globe. Is she Boston Globe still? You said she's New York Times, for reporting that she has done on busing in the schools there. So we want to shout her out too. And it's just exciting to see Bloombars family moves through this space, and not always through this space, but we're everywhere. And it's nice to support people from afar that way also. We are going to bring up one more artist before we get to our excellent, excellent featured poets this evening. I always like to introduce this next artist by saying, I've known you since you were a teen in high school. He's not a teen in high school anymore, and he is super active with the adult poetry scene here in DC and also with the youth poetry scene as a coach and a mentor, and also family of ours here at Bloombars and ours here in the DC arts community. Can we please give it up for our next artist, Brandon Douglas, as he makes his way to the stage. I don't know where Brandon is, but I feel confident he's in this room and moving towards me. He is. Can we give it up for him one more time, like he's Doc McStuffins?
Hey, hello everybody. I was hungry, so I went to get food, and then I came back and it said no outside food. So like, that's terrible. But I'm here for y'all, you know what I'm saying, to do stuff. Yeah. I'm gonna do a song. Okay. I would like for people to participate. There we go. I could not see y'all at all because the lights was like, so I'm gonna start a thing and then y'all copy me. Okay. All right. Okay. There. All right. Hmm. 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 Yeah, just feel free to keep doing it. Okay. All right. This is my part now. Okay. I'm seeking freedom in a world that feels like a prison. So I turn my life into poetry in hope that you'll listen. I just want to share with you how I've been living. I just want to share with you this gift I've been given. I've got chains on, and I don't know where they came from. I need to be liberated. I've got chains on, and I don't know where they came from. I need to be liberated. This life thing has way too many layers. I ain't got a chance, so I'm leaning on my prayers. Now, what is a dream? I'm unaware. There isn't much that's more blinding than a nightmare. That's why I stay woke while I'm breathing this air, holding on to everything, pretending not to care about nothing, which leaves no time to prepare for battle against every single thing that's got me scared. I've paid my dues, now I want to change. I'm old, I've lived in fear for so long, I've got an address and zip code. This is personal, I'm in a different mode. It's like I'm stuck in relevate the way I'm on my toes. It feels like just the other day I was 12 years old. I've learned to keep my fire burning in the sheer cold. I see my breath, but also their success. I know that the latter tends to come with the stress of trying to find my place among folks who won't learn my face. I feel lost. I need y'all, so like, can y'all, yeah, so lost. All right, I'm gonna start that part over. Yeah, there you go. You got the snap. Follow her. Trying to find my place among folks who won't learn my face. I feel lost. So lost. It's hard for me to keep my faith when I deal with so much hate. Oh God, I'm sorry. I've got chains on, and I don't know where I should be. Instead of where I am, I'm stopping my own flow like I've built an internal dam. Now I'm stagnant. Thoughts are weighing on me by the gram now. Fear is the worst. It's actually paralyzing. Limbs are left stiff as I feel the terror rising in my gut, and my soul is where I should have control. Now I'm as useless as a butterfly with wings made of solid gold. I'm grounded. I think it's because I missed my curfew. I waited too long, but I thought that patience was a virtue, so I fell back, putting trust in this thing called life. I was taught if you want a chance, be ready to roll the dice, but I'm scared to crap out. So I clench my fist. How can I know which doors are open if I don't take the risk to give the nod but twist? The power is in my wrist. I'm gonna take a shot and hope that I don't miss. I'm going to take the shot and hope that I don't miss. Yeah. I've got chains on. I need to be liberated. I've got chains on, and I don't know where they.
Yes. awesome. I'm so glad you're here for this. So we have 5 of the top poets from the city of Tshwane, South Africa, who are visiting DC right now for a week, who were at the Split This Rock Poetry Festival this past weekend, which I would also like to give it up for Split This Rock and Jonathan Tucker and other staff there who do awesome, awesome work and make this great thing happen. So we're so glad to have them here tonight. They are each going to share several of their poems with us and do one long feature set for us. So relax, get excited, make yourselves comfortable. Our 5 poets, in no particular order, because I'm not sure exactly what order y'all have decided to come up tonight, are Zita Jabiso, I know I didn't say that correctly, I'm working on it, Modise, Mantombi, and Tunsikas. Can we please give them a warm DC Bloom Bars round of applause? These are your Speak Out Loud poets all the way from Tshwane, South Africa.
Oh, good evening. How's everyone doing? Easy, man. I'm excited to be here. Thanks a lot. I had prepared a set for you all, but then I see these beautiful kids around, and I was like, no, let me read. Reading is very important, isn't it? Yeah. So the kids should know we read, eh? Yeah. I got a chapbook out. It's titled Bits and Pieces. It's basically a collection of my poems that I've written in the past 5 years, between 2012 and quite recently. So yeah, I'm gonna read a couple of poems out of here. The first poem that I'm gonna read is titled The Memorial. It's a dedication to Stephen Marema. He's one of the guys who was abducted by the police force back then in the apartheid times, and we don't know where he went. He just disappeared like that. He was from my township called Mamelodi. I'm from Pretoria, the city of Tshwane, so there's a township around, it's called Mamelodi. I'm from there. So this poem goes like this. I scratch your smile from beyond your grave to provoke memory of a fractured past, of petrol bombs and chemicals. I build words instead of stone for your memorial to appease your blood. Flames of your body burning light up our dreams, dreams that mount on strange deaths. Yours is an anthem that holds our lives, a story we tell when we gather around the fire. It is measured in twilight and poor people, and it is worth every human right that weaved our struggle. Ah, look, our constitution written with blood. But I am afraid the heat of the sun is too cold. Yeah. And this next poem is a poem that I have written dedicating it to my township, Mamelodi, meaning mother of melody when translated in English. I'm sorry I refuse to nurse your ego. I cry hymns from your slums, sounds of empty bellies rhythm the drums when I walk past your dreams. Nightmares swallowed your children. I burn lanterns to commemorate your streets. They forgot where they begin. Oh, township, tin houses. Mamelodi, I still wish to know you. From the depth of your shadows that dress your stubborn hope, to the whistles of your orphans that call for your rebirth, I hear them scream like wolves howl at the moon in squatter camps, under bridges, in trains, on queues in the clinics, and in the banks collecting welfare. This ghetto is ours. Tell mountains of Mohale to watch them, to mother their grief. Tomorrow is their day. And I have another one, smaller than a poem, which is my last poem. It's titled Under Money Trees. Open gates and you will find Bill, the richest of them all, peeping through his windows. Richard and his vision expected to fly us to the moon. I can sing opera for the gift bags. Life of the rich is magic like pulling rabbits out of the head. Strange things like the mouse chasing a cat. Shadow smiles, shady deals, shaking corporate hands as man continues to build his castle with sand. I poke Big Brother's eye for watching, wealthy men disguising, money rotates in the same circle like the wheel of fortune spinning. The poor bet lottery, they are hopeful, criminals plan robberies, money matter when bills pile. Stressed, doctors file prescribes pills. Thanks. I'd like to call on stage Kabiso Vili, one of the dynamics we have, you know? Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Brother Zita. Thank you, Bloom Bars. Thank you, Split This Rock. Thank you, audience. Just thanks on top of thanks on top of thanks. Yes. So, I am going to do a thing where I'll also read short poems. I think short poems are super exciting, and we don't have enough of them. So these first couple of ones are from a chapbook that I'll be publishing on later this year. There's this amazing poet that I met actually on Saturday called Rashid Copeland, and I read some of his work in his chapbook called "The Book of Silence: Man is a Pseudoscience," and I responded to some of his poems. So what I'll do is I'll say Rashid says, and then I'll read his poem, and then I'll say, then I'll read the response. Rashid says, "Don't go sipping up all of her sunshine unless you can handle her nighttime." I say, turned you into a sun with no set, with no rise, just me soaking you in, turned you into melanin, how melanin turned everything to black, how I turned you into night, no silent, just violence, and your black soaked all that in, and after all that, I still never learned to apologize. Rashid says, "You talk in your sleep so loud that it makes me want to drag you and him out of your dreams." I say, "Even after I bit your tongue so hard that you couldn't speak for a month, you still said his name." Rashid, right before clutching fire, son prodigal, how he returns to a burning house that the fire brigade has abandoned, and everyone on the street stares in awe at how beautiful destruction can be. On pruning, how strange it seems that we pick flowers from nurturing bushes and let their splendor wilt in our cold vases. You, brilliant beauty, are a flower, and I am a vase, and God's fingers are cruel for having placed you within me. Scripture skin. Scratching at scriptures, she's bleeding holy texts again. She has chapters beneath her skin, eyes made of old papyrus, aged scrolls behind her eyelids, magic tome, these musty hieroglyphs. I've seen you scratch Sanskrit out your nails, Rosetta Stone heart, this tower of Babel you have for a tongue. What do you speak when heaven beautiful love
in such first one is titled Abantwana, which means children. We'll start with the Xhosa version, and we'll move to English. Ababuyanga abantwana. Namhla ilanga litshona emini. Inja nganye isikhotha amanxeba. Ababuyanga abantwana khona inoko zayo. Indaba yakwamkhosi. Nantsi imandlalwana yabo idlalelwa lizinga sebuqweni. Akabuyanga abantwana. Akhombi inoko zayo. Indaba yakwamkhosi. Abathakazelekile bothula kumqango kunjingwe indandi. Amantombazane ayayekele abafazi bayakha emveni inoko zayo. Akabuyanga amadoda entabeni. Ababuyanga abantwana. You see, my culture, women are not allowed to talk about these things. It has been 99 years since my brother went up the mountain. The sun sets at noon. Dogs lift their legs and lick their wounds. Children have returned to the mountain. Fathers gather around, shake heads. No one says a word. But the little bundles of getted blankets say to all. A dry blood stains the house and words. The maidens prepared a feast, only to throw calabashes to dogs and pigs. There will be no feast, and there will be no funeral. There will be no coming home and celebratory relations, but moans and sobs of grief as we silently mourn the non-return of boys that were nearly men. Menfolk will not talk about it. Mothers cannot dare mention their names. In hushed tones, they give cold condolences. It's culture, they say. Akuhlanga lo ngehliyo, and they look away. The children will not come back from the mountain. They lay in shallow graves unmarked. We shall never see them or their graves. We shall never see them or their graves. What I appreciated about, I've been here for a few days, is how free and carefree people are. They just do their own things, There are certain things that you do in South Africa, but I feel like people are policing you, Or maybe it's the mentality that we have. For example, sometimes you are not free to love the person you love because it's not welcomed, or you're doing something that is wrong according to them. So this poem is titled Ngumntana womntu, which means she or he is someone's child. We'll start with the version again. Wamzala seliyotshona ilanga. Wamzala wambeka entendeni yesandla sakhe. Wamfahla inkaba ngothando, ububele nokuzithemba. Wakhula ekrelekrele enxalela ulwazi, wakhawuleza waphumela ngaphandle elizweni elimqenqelezi. Bamqoba amadolo, bebenyelisa, bembiza amagama. Nabo bebefanele ukumkhusela, abo baqhayisa ngokuba ngamakholwa bamnukuneza. Kwathamba amadolo, wamngcikiva umvandedwa, isono sakhe sisinye qha, ikukuthanda lo uthandwa inhliziyo yakhe. She gave birth at dusk to a bouncing, beautiful bundle of joy. Confidently, the umbilical cord was cut, carefully, heart full of love. A giggling toddler grew into a bright teenage mind, hungry for words, yearning for the message. She went out to the slippery slopes of the world to deliver that message of love and compassion. But the world forced its own message of revolution, of revolt and ridicule. Supposed protectors leading the attacks, religious and righteous throwing the first stones. The abuse went unabated and unrebuked. With resolve weakened and dream deferred, she felt isolated, despised and betrayed. The supposed guilt led to a harsh sentence of hate, locked in cold cells of queer languages, rape called corrective, murder called phobia. Her only sin is to love the one in her heart. Thank you so much. Next up is Mantombi.
Hi, everyone. You weren't lying. You can't see anything, hey? I've got flu, so I'm trying to leave as least amount of disease on the stage. The poem that I'm about to do is a very personal poem with relation to people who get caught up in addictions, drug addictions, and find themselves on the streets. So the families that are left behind and the reflections that come from that. He's gone again. And every stuttering second, every scratched disc second strips the joy of once having owned a son from her face. She colors her sorrow with makeup, but lacks the glow, as a rainbow's presence is non-existent without the sun. She sleeps without rest, anxious of each day, as her ability to determine day from night is no longer there. So joy never comes in the morning, but morning still persists, as the last morning she remembers is the one right before his daybreak. His journey's birth, foot blisters and scars, less clothing and blackened, cracked lips. Odors that seem familiar for the worst of reasons. Eyes that radiate a blankness about them that is hard to comprehend, darting back and forth like paranoid pigeons. The frames that hold the windows of his soul have been broken into, and all that remains is a rotting brain. But somehow it's okay, because he's here. He's there. She cleans the wounds of retaliation off him and cuddles with her first ability to give life. Searches his eyes and says, "Son, how is it that I see no light in your eyes, yet you're still able to see? Son, how is it that you breathe, yet your soul is still? The blood in your veins no longer flows. Son, take heart, my son, and follow the light that you have so naturally refracted upon me." But it will be many a moon before her words sink in. There'll be no sunshine when I'm gone, and only lightning if I stay. Endless hopefuls wait for my soul to return to me someday, so I won't go away. I pickpocket these streets for a little more than coins. Eyes closed because it takes more than sight to have vision. I use to express my imagination. Fantasies seem a lot more realistic than fate. I've been judged before understood and saved before lost. The honesty being, there's no difference between them and I. We're all run out by our desires and urges. At least I know the price of mine. We're a Rubik's Cube generation, expected to be solved before sent into society with no great wars and no place in history, damned to build and break these streets for our self-esteem. I am but a simple man, manipulating my imagination and fantasies before this dirt returns to claim me. Thank you. The second poem is a short poem, short confidence poem, just a short poem. And after me, it's gonna be Umorise. I will no longer waste my time and sweet tears on people who belittle me to feel complete. I am too full of the Holy Spirit to squeeze your insecurities into my armor of God. Too cynical to slip my life into the brittle hands of the lost when I know my identity and trust lie in God's eagle-winged arms, where your judging and critiquing are enough. His grace is sufficient, so try not to pity my full figure and fat smile, for his love helps me ooze in blessings and favor in places where all you see is my obesity, rather than the love he has for me. What no eye hath seen, what no ear hath heard, what no human mind conceived, the things that God has prepared for those who love him. Thank you.
Good evening. I couldn't use my loop station, which I'm really sad about. We don't know why it's not working. But this poem is called Our Home. I'm always really anal about how the microphone is positioned. As our embodiment, we have furnished our fairy tale with the feathers of a phoenix, whose flames are fashioned by silent fire, flavored by its feelings. We forged a home from a mushroom and flagged the fragrance of the most favored flowers over our ceiling. Our fortress is a fantasy to fairies, frightened by the forest and seeking silence and solace. The door is a dazzling dandelion, open to any orphaned soul singing the songs of the solstice. The windows are made out of bubbles that burst with the sunrise and open the curtains of my son's eyes. We have built a home without bricks, sticks, or cement. Instead, we put everything together through licks, kicks, and intent. We declared ourselves inhabitants of a world wondrous, in a home that moves with us as willing wanderers of a whirling world that never withers. Our bed is a moving river leading to an ocean of lived dreams from the mid-streams in our hearts, lit and releasing light beams onto a tainted art. Our home is a poem performed by a pony, transformed into a Pegasus with its wings as our mattress. We sleep in Atlantis, and our dreams are as a prayer, like the screams of the mantis, and our ceiling is laid with the sheets of an atlas. Our home is situated in the center of a star, connected to the universe's placenta from afar, so every night it graces the sky with its presence and treats the crescent moon as heaven's scar. The driveway is a frozen glacier that makes it easier to kickstart a fallen star. Across galaxies it moves with our wishes as it grooves. The windows are actually the eyes of God's widows, whose tears form the bubbles we use as pillows. Thank you. My beloved brothers and sisters. Okay, I just started the wrong poem. A traveler once said to me, "Throw away your compass and map if you really want to arrive. Crush your navigator and dismember your radar if you truly want to find. Follow the wind. See the northern star, for the darkness in your heart can bring out its shine. Don't be shy. Ask the flowers for directions and follow the walking eagle whose wings hold up the sky. Listen to it when it speaks. Never wish to fly, for you have already arrived and are alive. Attune your footsteps with the tortoise. Move as if not to disturb the air around you. Do not disturb the nothingness. Be calm, my child. Speak as though in silence and the night will listen. Sleep, my dear angel. Don't be afraid to be alone. We don't belong here anyway. We were brought to collect the tiny dust particles that fell from shattered stars. So look carefully, but don't search. Let them find you. We don't have enough time. Eternity is too near to people like us. We have stretched too far beyond our time. The truth haunts us, so stop yourself from living. Stay still and fulfill love's will. Don't work to improve yourself. Your already perfect form lurks underneath your sleepy eyes during dim-lit skies. You don't need to prove yourself. Your presence evokes a heavenly essence in all those who see you, settled and content in sitting in emotions of stillness. My dear child, you were brought here to swim. The ocean of earthly consciousness loves and embraces you, smiling with every wave. Be open. Keep looking, but don't search. The universe will speak to you, but don't listen. The way will be shown to you, but don't use your vision. Instead, meditate. Keep your eyes closed and legs locked until you levitate. Let the world forget you ever existed. Kill yourself as soon as the sun sets, but don't rise. Let the night last forever. But before that, tell your loved ones never to cry and to save as much water as they can for the coming drought. For without our kind on this planet, it ceases to rain. The oceans follow us back to our home, for their purpose here has been fulfilled. Empty the rivers in your pockets onto their palms. Tell them to keep their hands open and quench their thirst only when they see the sun again, for there'll be no need for them to mourn. For you will not have left, but will be lodged right at the base of their fragile hearts. Tell your mother you love her, and that she was the heavenly gate that led you into this village called earth. Give her a piece of your soul. Tell her never to give birth, for her gates were bolted with your arrival. The lust divine seeker had been produced. And then it was done. The cycle had been completed. Finally, the top of our spinning planet will come to a stop. All this will be naught. Humans will be wiped off the face of it like snot. There'll be no trace of them but their scent, which will linger until time's tail is cut off and its head crushed to a pulp. But there never was a need to move. There never was a need to speak. Only angels in inner mountains waiting for you to reach the peak. All was planted within you. That's why you'll never find what you currently seek. So go back home. Let the oceans follow. Remember to leave your loved ones with the rivers in your pockets. Do not plant outside yourself. The fertile ground within is the only place where you can reap. Thank you very much.
On the spot haiku. Sometimes when I don't know where to find hope, I just look to the poets. Can we please give it up for our incredible features, Zita, Jabiso, Mthunzikazi, Montombi, and Mudise. That was fantastic. We thank you for bringing your poetry to DC and to Bloom Bars. And everyone, we're not done quite yet, but before you leave, these poets have brought a whole array of wonderful things to share their work with us. They have books, CDs. I think there's some jewelry back there as well. Check out the stuff that they have. Help support artists in any way you can, if that includes supporting them by purchasing merchandise and sharing their work with others. That's wonderful. But can we just give them another round of applause, please? That was a lovely gift you brought to us. So we have one more open micer, as far as I know, on the list tonight. I know I keep saying Bloom Bars family, but we also say that once you come to Bloom Bars once, you are a family of ours. So you're all family now. My birthday's in November. I'll remind you as it gets closer. But this next artist is Bloom Bars family, and in a very literal way also brings her family here on the regular and helps with a lot of our young children's programming as well. Can we give it up for Kimberly Rose, please, as she makes her way to the stage?
So I want to record this, and you'll know why in a second. Okay. So my name is Kimberly Rose. It's lovely to see you all, and thank you for that mind-blowing poetry that I just heard. It was unbelievable. I mean, everything, just wow. Thank you for that. I can't see any of you, so I'm just going to take those off anyway. Forgive me if I get a little emotional. There's a little storytelling that comes with this music that I'm about to sing for you. My mother-in-law passed away a week ago today, and My husband doesn't know that I'm here telling this story or doing this right now, but I didn't get to go to the memorial because I stayed home with the girls and it just didn't work out. But my husband is from Somalia, and my mother-in-law is from Somalia, and she didn't speak English, so we had a limited communication with each other. But from the last 6 years, 7 years that I got to know her, there was an unspoken communication between us, and I gave her two granddaughters, and there was immense love there. And I have immense love for my grandparents, and so it was important to me that my girls got to know her, but my second daughter, who's only 2, didn't get to know her. Unfortunately, she moved back to Minnesota to convalesce for the last 3 years, right before she was born. So anyway, my daughters' names are a combination of Somali Western thing, and I write songs. I'm a singer, and so I wrote 2 songs for them after they were born, according to their personality, and I sing them to them every night. So my first daughter, Elijah, who's 5, her name is Elijah, and it's an unusual name, and it's Somali tradition. It's very much, they want the names to be Somali, but I actually had a dream about Elijah when I was pregnant with her, that I gave birth to a baby girl, and I caught her in my arms, and I said, "Elijah, mercy." And so when I woke up, I knew she had her name, and I knew that it was going to be a girl, and I knew her name was going to be Elijah. And I looked up Elijah. I like the name Elijah for a boy, I didn't think about it for a girl, but I liked it for a boy. And when I looked it up, Elijah actually is a prophet that's is recognized by Islam. So I sold it to them by, her name is a prophet's name. And they were like, what? But her middle name, Mercy, is Rahma in Somali, and Rahma is what they call her, and all the Western family calls her Elijah, so it's kind of funny. But anyway, the song I wrote for her is Elijah Rahma, and her name to me means our God, our most merciful God. And I'm singing these songs tonight for you, but also for Ayeyo, which is grandma in Somali, whose spirit is crossed over to the other side, and I wanted to be there for her. And so I'm going to sing these songs about her 2 granddaughters. Elijah Rahma, Elijah Rahma, don't be blue. Elijah Rahma, Elijah Rahma, don't be blue. There's no need to cry when you look at the sky and you see that the stars are aligned for you. Pretty little girl in the whole wide world, who came to me in a dream. Pretty little girl in the whole wide world, who's made to rule as a queen. There's no need to cry when you look at the sky and you see that the stars are aligned for you. Elijah Rahma, Elijah Rahma, don't be blue. Thank you. When she was born, she had a furrowed brow, and she was always kind of questioning everything. So it was always like, it's okay, Elijah, everything's going to be okay. My second daughter, Kamara Miriam, is a fighter. She's very interesting. But anyway, she's named after her grandmother. Kamara is actually a westernized version of the name Qamar, which is Arabic for moon. And so I call her Kamara, but her middle name is Miriam, and that's the name of her grandmother that just passed. And when we were in the hospital, and the grandmother 2.5 years ago, almost more than 2.5 years ago, found out that the baby was named after her, she was so excited. She said, "I'm going to sell all my goats and camels and give her all my gold." And she just was like, "I can't wait to meet her." And it was, in her mind, she has all the camels and goats from Somalia and all the gold. And it was just such a moving thing. And unfortunately, she never did get to meet her. We never got to bring her to her. And I'll always be sad about that. So this song, Kamara, is moon, and Miriam is can be beloved or blessed. So Kamara Miriam is my blessed moon. Kamara Miriam, Kamara Miriam, Kamara Miriam, Kamara Miriam. You shine just like the moon, brightened by the sun. You shine just like the moon, Kamara Miriam. Be kind to those you meet and fill their hearts with joy. Do everything with love, Kamara Miriam. We love you like the earth. We love you like the sun. We love you like the moon, Kamara Miriam, Kamara Miriam, Kamara Miriam, Kamara Miriam, Kamara Miriam. Thank you.
So art can be a place of protest, of outreach, of healing, of community. I think we got a little bit of a lot of that tonight. Can we please just give it up for everyone who got up here and shared something with us, shared themselves? Yeah, can we please give it up for our phenomenal featured artists here visiting us from South Africa? Could we give it up for our wonderful volunteers who make all of this stuff happen here all the time? And then some of my most favorite people to give it up for at the end of an open mic are all of the people who just came to hang out and see what's going on and what artists in the community are up to these days. Also would like to give it up for the young people, the youngest people who joined us tonight and stayed up late with the grown-ups, which is a thing to do sometimes. Just want to let you know about a couple of special things happening here this week. Like I mentioned earlier, we have programming every day of the week, stuff for young kids, stuff for all ages. A couple special things this week. Tomorrow night is our BloomScreen Independent Film Night, which is every Tuesday. This week, in honor of it being Earth Day week, they're going to be doing a film specifically about factory farming and how that is impacting the planet and stuff that we can learn and do about that. Also a special event this week. On Saturday night, we're going to have a classical Indian music concert with 2 vocalists and a tabla performer, Dibu Nayak, who's done a lot of shows here. And that should be a phenomenal show. You should come check it out. Also, one of our newer programs that we have now is on Friday afternoons, which is done by students from Duke Ellington School of the Arts, a performing arts high school here in DC. And so you should come check that out, especially if you are young people or know young people who might want to connect with those students as well. Have an excellent evening. Thank you for coming. Please meet somebody before you leave. As cheesy as that might sound, it works. And I think these kinds of environments can foster that. So please meet new people and please come back. And thank you so much for supporting Bloom Bars.